Okay, I guess we're going to start with the question of why I'm writing an autobiography, or the third book. Basically, I've written already two books. One's been published, one is in the process of being published. The first one was called Conscious Awakening, and the second one is called Messages of Awakening. And these were books that were inspirations and consciousness that I felt that I wrote over the last several years. But during that time, many people, not just here in the United States, but in other parts of the world, have said to me the same thing. You have lived kind of an interesting, unusual life for a boy from the Midwest who kind of took off and traveled around the country and also around the world, and was involved in a New Age religious movement, and was involved in Wall Street as a financial advisor, and then all of a sudden involved in the world of the path of spirituality, meditation, yoga, these kind of things. And they've said, why don't you write a book? And I said, well, maybe that's a good idea. The primary reason for that is to help other people. If what I've gone through, what I've experienced, what I've overcome, how I've grown, and the realizations and insights I've attained can be helpful to other people who are struggling with a variety of life issues, then I think it's a good purpose to be able to write the book for that reason. Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is, on this path, in terms of myself, in terms of other people that I've seen, there are a lot of people that struggle with depression, and it seems to be part of the path. And obviously there are a lot of people that have depression that may not be associated with a spiritual path, but definitely people that I've talked to, almost without exception, in my travels and my students and things like that, all have shared with me the idea that they have at one time or another, or even multiple times, suffered from a very difficult depression. And a couple years ago, my brother passed away because of that. He took his life because of depression. So this is kind of an additional motivation for me why to write this book. If sharing the things that I've gone through, and hopefully the things I've overcome, can be a guide and a light for people that are at that point, that are going through severe depression, and can help them lift themselves out of that without going to the extreme of suicide, I think that's also a very good reason to write this book. There's been several people that have contacted me through Facebook and Skype that were on the brink of ending it, and I was able to share with them not only words but also energy and healing that help them and prevent them from doing that. There are several testimonies. There's one lady out in Oregon that wrote a couple of YouTube testimonies about her experience with that. That would be, it's very inspiring to me. So, I mean, pretty much that's it. I'm an author, a teacher, meditation teacher, a healer. I give spiritual advice and guidance. And so this is a natural thing for me to do, is to write another book. Whether this will be the last book or not, I don't know. It might be the last book. There might be more. We'll just have to see. They really kind of write me instead of me writing them. It's definitely a collaboration between my rational mind and my heart and my soul. It's not just my rational mind that's doing it. It's a tapping in of a deeper energy within myself and within the universe that tends to flow when I start to write these particular books, especially the first two books. Conscious Awakening I wrote in 8 hours. It was just basically a stream of consciousness that came through me. Messages of Awakening took a lot longer, but again, these are like little snippets of consciousness coming through me that I recognized and then I wrote down. And I collected in a few areas on a blog and also on Facebook. And now I've collected so many of them that there's enough of them to actually put in a book. And that book is written in the tradition of like Everyday Osho, where it's a book where you can just pick it up and go to one page, and it may provide you inspiration or guidance about certain issues that you're dealing with today. So it's not necessarily a book that's going to be read from cover to cover. Now, obviously, the autobiography might be different than that. So,
what's your writing process like?
writing process?
Yeah. Like, where do you go when you do your writing? And
I don't go anywhere. It happens to me any place. As a matter of fact, when I was in doing Conscious Awakening, I was in a an insurance symposium over in New Jersey for a few days, and one night at 3 in the morning, I woke up and I had to write, and I went into the bathroom with my tape recorder and spoke into the recorder at 3 o'clock in the morning to keep away from the other guy I was sharing the room with, so I wouldn't wake him up. So uh, these writings, I don't like set up a time. Okay, I'm going to write now. It just comes to me, and then I recognize, oh, this is something I need to add to this, and either I go onto Facebook or I go onto a Word document and I write it down. But mostly I've been doing it on Facebook. In the last year and a half or so, it's been on Facebook. And there's, quite frankly, there's some that I missed that I felt was something to write, and then I remembered it, but then I forgot to write it on Facebook, and then I forgot it later. So there's probably at least 50 or 60 of that, like that I wish I would have taken the time. At the time, I made little mental notes. Okay, this word may trigger me remembering this, but it doesn't always come back to me like that. So that's pretty much the reason. And hopefully it'll be a success, and I'll make some money too. I need to survive, and I need to, fund the practice of Reiki Gong all over the world. This is my main purpose in the rest of my life, is to build this academy in 3 places at least. So I am interested in raising money. I don't know whether the book will contribute to that or not. We'll just have to wait and see.
who do you think would be interested in reading the autobiography?
Oh, I think anyone that's on a spiritual path, anyone that's struggling with different life issues, anyone that's a deep thinker, anyone that's interested in meditation, yoga, Qigong, Reiki, different types of energy healing. There's a huge audience for this. And I think the world is going through a major awakening that has never happened before in history, where there's lots of people going through this process of awakening their deeper self, their soul essence, or whatever you want to call it, Buddha nature, Christ consciousness. And so if that's the case, then there's really a need for not one particular teacher, but many teachers to reach out to many people in many geographic locations. I think the days of guru yoga and kind of like the religion with Christianity, things like that, where you've got one dead master as the center and everybody kind of tries to follow, I think that's just not going to work anymore in this world. There's too much going on. There's too many challenges for that to practically work. We haven't seen a real awakening of humanity yet. It's got to be more profound. It's got to be more structured. It's got to be lots of people going through this process, not just one person. I call that brother-sister yoga instead of guru yoga, or just one portal. You have many people, and you recognize the fact we're all the same. There isn't anyone better than anybody else. Okay, some people are more down the path of their awakening than others, but that doesn't mean the people that don't have the same seed and potential, therefore the same value. And when spiritual teachers start getting full of themselves and have rivalries, and this is just another manifestation of ego happening again. So I think that model is what I believe in. It's the age of Maitreya. We call it the age of Maitreya, or friendship. The happy Buddha, the friendship Buddha. There's been many in the Buddhist teaching. There's a lot of teachings about the new age is going to be the age of friendship and Maitreya, and the next Buddha will be the Maitreya Buddha. So, and that could be one person. It could be a collective of people that recognize that we're all in this together. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all one family of humanity, and that's it. All the other labels we use to divide us certainly don't help bring about unitive consciousness. It's finding the commonality within each individual, the divinity, the consciousness that's deep inside, that's connected to the soul. That's what brings us together, not the mind of division and separation and labeling and trying to evaluate and structure things in a hierarchical type of thing. This is not necessary anymore, in my view. We got to transcend that. We need to get to the realm of heart and family as a primary thing. Okay? It's almost done.
Good.
Yeah, not going to take an hour.
Only been 10 minutes that we've
Yeah.
been taping.
It's almost there.
Great.
So maybe we can get at least a half hour worth of the first section.
Okay.
And like you said, it doesn't have to be in order.
Oh, that's true.
We don't have to do childhood first or anything else. Maybe do childhood last. So I need to jog my memory a little bit about what happened back then, you know.
Well, we can always add to it also.
Yeah,
It's
that's right.
Nothing that we put down now is finished
That's right.
necessarily. So, is there anything else you want to talk about while we're waiting for that to finish? That you want to talk about how you think Reiki Gong is going to impact the world?
Well, in the same light of bringing people together, Reiki Gong is a synthesis of a couple of different ancient traditions. Qigong from China and Korea, and also Reiki from Tibet. I've also added in some Tibetan Buddhist practices as well as Bon Buddhism, which is the ancient Buddhist practice from Tibet. We need to, each individual needs to be able to tap into their divine essence as a reality in their life, not a conceptual thing, and practice the love and the compassion that comes from that. This is how the world can be changed, one person at a time. The peace, the bliss, the love, and the compassion. It has to start within each individual's realization of who they are. And so Reiki Gong is a medium for that to happen. Reiki means higher consciousness energy, and Gong means practice. So higher conscious energy practice. It's not exclusively the realm of Reiki. I mean, you can practice yoga, you can practice Qigong, other forms of meditation with similar results. But I found that by combining these things together into one, the process is accelerated and people develop more quickly their sense of energy, their sense of their deeper self, their central essence, their Buddha nature. They can go more quickly. So other than that, it's pretty much the same as any other type of spiritual practice, whether you're praying, meditating, doing yoga, doing service, whatever, healing. All these various things are methods or ways to which we go deeper within ourselves. But I think that people are looking for better health, mental and emotional stability, and spiritual growth. And those are the things that Reiki Gong, for someone that does a regular practice of it, it's just not something you can do once and okay, it's something that really takes some diligent effort to integrate into your life. And like myself, it's not just I practice this particular meditative exercise once a day and that's it. I put Reiki into everything I do, whether it be my shower, my food, even making love. I mean, I want to live in higher consciousness energy 24/7, all the time. I don't want it to be, okay, I'll do it, and now I'm back to my other world. There isn't two worlds, There's an asleep world and an awake world, but it's all one world. There's people that are spiritually asleep that live primarily in the surface in their ego mind and have no clue about their inner self. And there are people that are awakening to that on the process and are already awakened and are going deeper. Okay? So it should be 24/7. You should live in a meditative state constantly. It's not just like a little, medicine that you take when you get stressed out. Okay, I need to meditate because I'm stressed out. And you meditate and you feel better, then you jump right back into the mindset that got you the stress to begin with. So you go back and forth, back and forth. Eckhart Tolle talked about this in The Power of Now. The power of now, the power of presence, realizing presence. At first it's like you get a little taste of it and then you're dragged back into the egoic consciousness. It takes time to make that shift. But you have to realize that I don't want to say the word goal, but the ultimate result of this practice is to make that permanent shift. to a state of full awakened consciousness and meditative presence in your life all the time. Okay? And it's not just a matter of your effort. Your effort's a part of it, but there's also the universe and life circumstances that come to you that also elicit these things that come out of your consciousness that need to be made aware of and released. This is a process of growth. It's your efforts as well as the universe working with you. Probably the universe working with you is more important than your efforts. But if you don't make the effort, you won't see any benefit. Okay? So Reiki Gong, meaning higher energy consciousness practice or management, is applicable to everyone, regardless of what religion they are, regardless if they're on another spiritual path or not. It's essential energy management. Energy being life energy, spiritual energy, mental energy, emotional energy, vital energy, all the levels of ki that we are a part of, that are part of us. Learning to manage those is very beneficial. So, I mean, quite frankly, everyone in the world could practice Reiki Gong or some form of it and have some benefits to that. What's my goal is to teach as many people as I can before the day I die. I don't know when I'm going to die. I'm 57 years old. I've got maybe another 30, 40, 50 years, maybe 10 years, who knows. My goal is to take what I've learned and continue to learn and share that with others for the benefit of their physical health, mental and emotional stability, and spiritual growth. And that's pretty much it. And make a living, either with Reiki Gong or with something else to survive, but the focus and purpose of my life is that, to help others in that level. So, and to create a community, not a separate community, but an integrated community with everyone else, as one human family, as one brother and sisterhood. You know, the labels and the exclusiveness of this path and this way, or atheist or agnostic or Christian, whatever, and everyone cling to their exclusive way as the best. This is not going to bring the world together. It won't. Never will. And insisting that you give up yours to join mine, it's not going to work. It doesn't work. You know? So I don't see Reiki Gong as a religion or a one path. It's just a simple meditative practice that can be very helpful and can help empower the other things you're doing in life, your creativity, your sensitivity, even your religion, your fervor in your religion, whatever, because it's soul empowerment. You know, that's the essence. It's tapping into that deep energy that's connected to the Tao or the source or, you know, the Buddha or whatever you want to call it. It really doesn't matter. You know, I read something today. My wife posted something on our community page today. It said, "You're the lamp and God's the electricity. You're the faucet and God is the water." You know, so you want to be the best lamp you can be so that the electricity flows as strongly as it can. You want it to be the best faucet so the water flows. You know, so the universe is assisting us in the movement of going from ego consciousness or separate consciousness and analytical consciousness to unitive consciousness and the realization of our own divinity and our own master within ourselves, our own guru.